Good morning and welcome to Our Chicago. I'm Liz Nagy. 21 years ago today, Al-Qaeda used commercial airliners to carry out coordinated terrorist attacks against the United States. Nearly 3,000 people were killed. In response to the September 11th attacks, the United States initiated the global war on terror. As we now mark this somber anniversary, we're discussing the threats Americans face today and what's changed. We're speaking with Tom Brady, the Associate Dean in Public Services Division and Director of the Homeland Security Training Institute at the College of DuPage. Tom, thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Somber anniversary, but let's start with a quick definition of what makes something a terrorist attack.
Well, terrorism has always been a little bit difficult to define because usually the motive is what's important in determining whether it was a terrorist act. But the dictionary defines terrorism as the unlawful use of violence and intimidation, especially against civilians, in the pursuit of political aims. So there may or may not be that piece of it. That's why it's so difficult to have one definition of terrorism.
And that is something investigators have struggled with over and over again in the past 21 years. So now, as we sit here today, are the greatest threats we face from outside the United States, or do you think the greatest threats are domestic terrorism here at home?
Yeah, Liz, I believe that today the greatest threat to the United States is domestic terrorism, what I consider to be homegrown extremism or homegrown terrorism, because we have so many mass shootings. And that's been in 2022. We've had a total of 508 mass shootings, and a mass shooting is defined as when 4 or more persons shot in one incident at one location at around the same time is a mass shooting. We've had 508 so far in 2022, with 2,089 people injured and over 500 people killed. I think 545 people have been killed in these shootings. So there's nothing to indicate that these are going to stop anytime soon. So I think that's the greatest threat right now that we need to be focused on.
And mass shootings are something that's now become part of the everyday vernacular here in the United States. So, Tom, can you talk to me a little bit about how technology and social media, misinformation, disinformation has changed terrorism and how it's being carried out here in 2022?
Sure. There's a lot of copycats that replicate crimes that they have seen or that have raised consciousness either by the media or by their own causes. And this is sometimes what is used to carry out some of these attacks. And they see this on, media now is 24/7. We know that. It's worldwide. There's what I consider to be crowd thinking. And crowd thinking is very dangerous. If you look at the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol, many people who were there didn't initially plan to storm the Capitol. But many were swept up into crowd thinking, and they did just that, and that's dangerous. So the internet's made it easier for people to plan carry out an attack because they can remain anonymous for the most part on the internet when they're doing research. So that has helped to further some of these acts that we've seen.
And Tom, you talked a little bit there about that mob mentality, so to speak. But another thing that really concerns investigators and terrorism experts is that lone wolf actor thing. Can you talk a little bit about the lone wolf actor thing, and is it easier for people to carry those out on their own?
If there's someone who's planning to carry out an attack of domestic terrorism and they've had no contacts with law enforcement, and they've not made their intentions known to family, friends, they are extremely dangerous, and they're known as lone wolves. Time is on their side. If they're planning something, again, they don't speak of it with anyone or don't make contact with people on the internet. They're specifically going to be doing this by themselves, and that's really dangerous because law enforcement doesn't have these people on their radar. They kind of fly under the radar, and that's a very dangerous thing in our country right now.
And then, Tom, if I can just ask you very quickly, if you could wrap it up, how has terrorism and the way we view it changed in the last 21 years?
It's different now. We're much safer. There's no question that we're safer than we were on 9/11, 2001, because of the security procedures that we put into the country. We've done a lot of things with airports and borders and things like that. The security is an everyday thing for us now, so we're safer from that standpoint. But can we be vulnerable? Of course we can, and that's something that we have to be focused on to make sure that we can be as safe as we possibly can.
And certainly the American public is definitely much more vigilant every day when they go out in public than they were 21 years ago today. Tom Brady, director of the Homeland Security Training Institute at the College of DuPage. We'll be right back.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to our ABC7 Chicago YouTube channel.